Do you have, or are you thinking about getting, a Bambu Lab P1P, P1S, or X1 carbon? Then I've got 5 must-have files you need to print today to bring your 3D printing experience to the next level. Be sure to stay to the end, because I've got a poop slide, that's right, a slide for your poops, as well as a 6th bonus file if you use bamboo filaments. Let's go! Unless you live in the desert, humidity is going to be one of your biggest nemesis. It's going to be one of your enemies. Over time, filaments absorb the moisture from the air, and that's bad for your prints. Now, while PLA does take a little bit longer to absorb moisture than other filaments like PETG, regardless of what you're printing with, you still have to keep your filaments dry. That's why the first 3 prints that we're going to talk about today use silica beads. Don't worry, I'm going to have all the links in the descriptions so you can check them out later. First on the list is the AMS rear desiccant refillable tray. In the back of the AMS, under the filament spools, are 2 spots to put desiccant. The problem is, if you're using silica beads, there isn't a good way to get them out. So I went over to Printables and downloaded the Bambu Lab AMS rear desiccant refillable tray designed by Mikey Lee. I only printed 1 for this video, but you'll want to clone each part once, so you print 2 trays. 2 trays will take 1 hour and 24 minutes to print, and will use almost 40 grams of filament. Once the print is done, just fill them up with silica beads, throw them in your AMS, and your AMS will be as dry as a bone. Or will it? If you go into your Bambu slicer, click on Device at the top. It will tell you what the moisture level is in your AMS on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the wettest and 1 being the driest. Before using these rear desiccant trays, I was at about a 5. After I put them in and started using them, I'd hover at about a 2 or 3. But it wasn't until I installed this second print that I got down to that consistent 1. Number 2, the silica dry box for Bambu Lab AMS, Hydra, and stock. Before I printed these out, I was just throwing random silica packets in the front of my AMS. Now, that just wasn't cutting the mustard. I got on MakerWorld and decided on this design by Croker and downloaded the version without a hygrometer, since I don't have one. Once the file was open in my slicer, I synced up my filament, selected the color I wanted to print in, and then moved the objects apart a little bit. I found printing objects this close together is just asking for a print failure. If you've had the same problem, let me know in the comments below. Seriously, I'd love to know it's not just me. Once I hit print, I got an error that I didn't change the default printer. After selecting the X1 carbon, it's good to go. The print took 6 hours, 13 minutes to print, and used about 84 grams of filament. Once the print is finished, all that's left to do is fill them up with your silica beads and put them in the AMS. But Dave, how did you pour all those silica beads into that thin rectangular opening? Wasn't that a pain? Well, I'm glad you asked, because yes, it would have been if it hadn't been for the 3rd print on this list. Number 3, the side silica dry box with handles for Bambu Lab AMS Corner Hydra in stock. Actually, just the funnel from this print. I was originally going to use this file for the silica boxes in the front of my AMS, but when I got into my slicer, I realized it had a bunch of overhangs that needed support, a spot for a hygrometer that I mentioned before I don't have, and it was going to take over 12 hours to print. But when I went to fill the boxes I did use for the silica beads, I remembered this file had a funnel in it. I went back to MakerWorld, re-downloaded this remix file by Bosch Tech Print Innovations, created a plate in the slicer, dragged over just the funnel, and in 24 minutes and 13 grams of filament extruded onto the build plate, I had a funnel. It worked great. I didn't spill a single bead, until I pulled it out too quickly and still spilled beads everywhere. The next couple of prints might not make your prints better, but it certainly will make the experience of 3D printing better. Number 4 is a door handle extension for the P1 series and X1 carbon. It's not like the factory door handle is unusable, but it is a little cumbersome. There are plenty of options on MakerWorld, and I wanted something that was simple and effective. So I went with this door handle extruder by Idea Lab. This little print only takes 19 minutes and uses just over 3 grams of filament to print one handle extension, and installation is easy. Just follow the directions on MakerWorld. Now opening and closing the door is a pleasure. But you know what isn't a pleasure? Picking up piles of poop. The 5th print makes picking up piles of poop perfectly painless. Number 5 is the one you've been waiting for, the X1 P1 Series Poop Slide. If you haven't been waiting for it, I have. I've been meaning to print one of these for almost a year. I can't believe I waited so long. Before, the little poops would just pile up behind the printer and slide down the crack of the cabinet. Never mind. So I went over to MakerWorld and downloaded this file from Big Dex, threw it in my slicer, and hit print. This took about 5 hours and used about 120 grams of filament. And seriously, I can't believe I waited so long to print one of these out. This version works great. It doesn't need magnets like other files, and makes it so easy to throw away those little poops. At the start of this video, I promised those of you who use Bambu Lab filament a bonus file. And here we are, the bonus file. The Filament Meter Quick Print. I don't know how many times I've had to take a spool of filament out of the AMS and check the side gauge to make sure I had enough filament left in the spool for the print. Over on MakerWorld, I found this file by Slick Print. You set this print on top of the filament, and you can measure how much filament is left on the spool. I opened it up in the slicer and painted it the way I wanted it. It took 30 minutes to print and only had 3 filament changes and used 9.5 grams of filament. It printed great and works great if you use Bambu filament. Come to find out, not all filament sizes are the same, and it just didn't work on the spools I typically use. But if you do use Bambu filament, it's a must-have. Well, that's it. 5 must-have prints for you to start printing today to bring your 3D printing to the next level. If you like this video and you want more content like it, you know what to do. And if you'd like to support me and my channel, consider picking up something for yourself or a loved one at my Etsy store, yourhomestate.com. Thanks for watching, everyone.